And later on, Dagenham and Redbridge. Brentford and Wycombe player Sam Saunders will be making his show debut. Now, 11 fixtures in the Championship. That includes a trip to see two of the defeated playoff teams go head-to-head as West Brom travelled to Derby. And two of the new boys faced each other as well, Barnsley and Luton. Now, over in League One, Bolton's boys welcomed the Tractor Boys, while Wycombe Wanderers could go top if results went their way, and they could beat a struggling Southend side still looking their first point. And the surprise package of League Two so far this season, Crewe were looking to make it 4 wins in a row as they steamed into Wales to face Newport. And also Swindon were looking their first ever win at Wadden Road against Cheltenham. But we begin in the Potteries. Two clubs who have had polar opposite starts to the season. Stoke City, bottom of the table, only 1 point in their first 4 games. And after some high-profile mistakes, Jack Butland was dropped to the bench, Adam Federici started, and Nathan Jones made 6 changes to the team that lost to Preston North End in midweek. Now, despite coming off the bench to win the match for Leeds against Brentford on Wednesday night, Eddie Nketiah and Helder Costa still couldn't force their way into Bielsa's starting lineup. So just one change, Berardi replaced Liam Cooper, and Paul Walker is your commentator.
Leeds getting into their stride. Lovely leave there from Hernandez. Cracked forward by Forshaw. Hernandez beaten out. Click! And Federici's there to claim it. Well, that will do his confidence, the power of good. Hernandez gets it under control, beaten away by Federici. And he's there to get the second one as well. Nathan Jones had some tough words for his players this week. Pulled no punches in his criticism of them after that defeat at Preston, saying there's been a hangover of players wanting to leave, players thinking they're proper players, in his words. Hernandez, Harrison up against Collins. Pull back to Click. Now Dallas, he can hit one from here. Well, Federici was scrambling to his right. A couple of yards wide of that right-hand post from Stuart Dallas. Etebo losing out to Click. Bamford looking to bend one. Oh, it didn't look too far away. Bamford with his back to goal turns and tries to bend it for the far corner. Forshaw. Hernandez, lovely ball. If Dallas can get there, he will get there! Oh, that was wonderful! Absolutely wonderful! The pass from Hernandez, the run from Dallas, and the Championship leaders edge in front. The way this is crafted is absolutely superb. Hernandez playing the give and go with Click. Bamford. It's dangerous, it's 2-0! Gianni Alioski puts Leeds United firmly in the driving seat. Another well-worked goal brings its reward. Leeds United having fun in the sun. And they're 2 up here at Stoke. Hernandez into Click. Through it goes to Bamford. Delicious ball in, and Gianni Alioski nips in ahead of Lee Gregory to tap it in. And the way this is going, you'd not bet against Leeds getting more goals. Click, Hernandez, Harrison coming onto it. It's Harrison! Well, a really good attempt from Harrison. Has a little look, just curls it past the upright. A watching brief for Jack Butland today, taken out of the firing line. 2 clangers at Preston. Hernandez picking out a glorious pass again. Alioski, the angle tight. Federici with the save. Bamford! Curtains for Stoke. simply have been too good. Patrick Bamford's hot streak continues. Federici beaten 3 times, and Leeds are cruising. Hernandez sumptuous again. Alioski's shot saved, and Bamford in just the right spot to tuck it away. But the problems just mount and mount and mount for Stoke City. They will remain rooted to the foot of the Championship table, whilst Leeds will stay top of it. Thumped away by Berardi. Edwards. Swept clear by White. Tommins opens up for a shot, and Casilla with the save. Ironic cheers from the Leeds United supporters at the fact that Stoke have just had a shot on target. Costa. Well, they're toying with Stoke here. Now they've picked up the speed of the attack. Helder Costa getting it back and having a strike! Oh, what a save! Let's give Federici some credit. Gets a good strong hand on this to deny Helder Costa. Leeds suddenly stepping on the gas. Good first touch from Helder Costa, that one's going in. And Adam Federici may have been beaten 3 times, but that's a very good save. Phillips's corner is a good one. Out by Lindsay. It's Click, deflected! Oh, Federici, did he get a hand on that as well? He did. Oh, terrific agility from the big Australian. Here's Nketiah rolling in for Shaw! Federici, wonderful save. They're not in the clear yet, though. Shackleton! Deflected behind. Well, Federici will emerge with some credit, at least. He's pulled off a couple of wonderful saves towards the end of this game to prevent any further damage being done. That's back to the drawing board for Nathan Jones again.
At the minute, I've not succeeded. Now, whether I failed is another thing. What we've done, we've changed a lot about the environment. We've tried to change the mentality here. The mentality's still going to be here, regardless of the manager. So someone has to change that mentality. Now we are working. We've given the players a lot of autonomy in terms of how they go about it, but it hasn't seemed to change. We're underachieving significantly. We've been underachieving for a long, long time, and I haven't managed to change that yet. So look, it's tough, but all we can do is keep working.
Powerful stuff. We'll come to that in a second. Let's concentrate on Leeds United first. Explain to me, as a football expert, exactly where Dallas and Alioski were playing today. I just thought they were both sensational and they were everywhere.
Well, they were everywhere. And having Phillips in that back three allows them to go wherever they want. They come inside, they go around the outside. And that's a brilliant run. It's a late run. It's timed very well, Dallas, to get in for a great finish. And then we see build-up play yet again. Little 1-2s. Oh. They were great at it. And Bamford there turns. Great ball into the back post. Alioski there for an absolute tap-in. And that's that being able to adapt, sometimes at left-back and sometimes higher up at left-wing-back.
And really gifted players waiting in the wings, on the bench, and not even on the bench today, that are good enough. Exciting times, but as much as Bielsa likes to be in the front foot, this is the joint best defence in the league. I know it's early doors, and even with problems, they're still pulling out clean sheets.
Well, they are. We've just looked at the young player, 21 years of age, on loan from Brighton. He's been on loan at Peterborough, Newport, and to keep all these clean sheets. Yes, he's got Berardi, not Cooper today, who was injured, and Phillips helping them along, but fantastic to see the clean sheets that they've got.
Big shoes for Ben White with Janssen leaving the club. Right, OK, we heard what Nathan Jones had to say. Hasn't been able to change the mentality yet. It wasn't there with Riot, same problems. How do you read the situation? Manager out of his depth, or players that need to do more?
Well, it was a big statement that he said, mentality about those players. There's some very, very experienced top players. Yes, they're coming towards their end of their careers, some of them. He leaves Jack Butland out, senior player. He's in Hogan, no ins. So there's lots of change. Yes, Joe Allen, possibly, but where did they go? There's something wrong. The amount of players that they've got at the football club to have that much of a problem, that's what's worrying.
They've got 2 championship teams there and it's not happening for them. OK, now we head to Hull and Preston North End. But first to Middlesbrough, where Jonathan Woodgate was looking to build on his first win as a manager after a hard-fought 3 points versus Wigan on Tuesday night.
They might have suffered a midweek mauling at the hands of Fulham, but Millwall certainly didn't show any side effects of that 4-0 thumping. Matt Smith's height always gives the Lions an edge when the ball's in the air. The big man couldn't steer his header on target. Borough had also been involved in midweek action, earning a much-needed first league win of the season against Wigan, but they were second best in the first half here. Ben Thompson denied by a top-class save from overworked Darren Randolph in the home goal. It seemed only a matter of time before the visitors made the breakthrough. Frustratingly for them, it just wouldn't come. Smith coming close with a header. There's a surprise. Cleared off the line by Adam Clayton. It was all too much for Millwall boss Neil Harris, who then got himself sent off just before the break following a silly altercation with the Borough coaching staff. With the gaffer in the posh seats, Millwall stayed on the front foot, with Randolph breathing a huge sigh of relief as his clearance landed at the feet of Smith. Smith's feet aren't as effective as his head, though, and that scare finally woke the hosts up. The home side had a huge penalty shout when the ball seemed to make contact with the arm of first Marlon Romeo, then Sean Williams. Referee John Brooks saw nothing. And then with 20 minutes left, they went in front. Paddy McNair sliding the ball past Millwall keeper Bartosz Bielkowski, who spent most of the afternoon topping up his tan. Millwall brought on Tom Bradshaw, and his first touch brought the equaliser. Smith's far post header vital, Bradshaw's touch essential. Millwall with no more than they deserved, and still 14 minutes left to play. Bradshaw's introduction had rescued a point, and he probably argued that he'd done enough to win it too. A heart-in-mouth moment coming up for Ryan Shotton as Bradshaw comes crashing down. The referee deciding that the Borough defender had also got the ball as well as the man. And that wasn't quite the end of the penalty drama either. Right at the death, there was another shout, this time at the other end, this time against Millwall's Jake Cooper. This one looked optimistic to say the least. This one finished all square. Goodness knows how Borough managed to squeeze a point out of this one.
The start we made the first half, we was outstanding. You know, should have been 3 or 4 up at the break. Then you go behind, and obviously disappointed to be behind, but then you want a reaction. I got that from our players. We scored. Should have had a penalty at the end as well. And you know, so I'm proud of the players and the group for coming back from Wednesday night, but disappointed as well that we've not won the game by 3 or 4 goals.
The Owls have been flying this season under caretaker boss Lee Bullen and briefly led the table midweek, but they were brought down to earth with a bump early on, which is also what happened to Sean Maguire when Moses Odubayo tried to stop him. The spot kick duties at Deepdale belonged to Daniel Johnson, and so did the opening goal. Well, just about. Preston's finishing in general has been dazzling this season with 12 goals in their last 4, and that confidence showed as Tom Barkhausen burst into life, which meant Kieran Westwood had to as well. But Alex Neil's side would double their lead, and it was a carbon copy of the first. Maguire again proving too hot for Odubayo to handle, and Johnson's successful spot kick meant he would have 4 goals in his last 3 games. The Wednesday keeper went the wrong way on that occasion, but he was just where he needed to be when Barkhausen again threatened to take the game away from the visitors. At 2-0, Wednesday were still very much in the game, and their comeback attempt really took off with 12 minutes to go. Substitute Adam Reach providing the kind of cross that strikers dream about, and Stephen Fletcher wasn't going to miss from there. So could the men from the Steel City find an equaliser? Well, actually, almost. Ati Nuhu decided to go it alone with plenty of panache, but he just ran out of time and space as the home defence closed in around him. Preston remain unbeaten since the opening day of the season.
To be honest, it should have been more comfortable. I mean, I thought for large parts of the game we were better, and we went 2-0 up. And to be honest, we were really, really comfortable until they made that change, and then we had to adapt, and I certainly think that helped us.
Back-to-back wins for Bristol City ahead of their trip to Hull, so Lee Johnson's side had a spring in their step. Benik Afobe was positively bouncing after he wasn't awarded a penalty when brought down by a clumsy Leonardo da Silva Lopez challenge. That seemed to be a wake-up call for Grant McCann's side. Rhys Burke blasting through a packed box, Thomas Callas in just the right place. On the half-hour, Johnson was forced into a change as record signing Callas was stretchered off. That didn't disrupt their flow. Tommy Rose burst into the box, drew a foul from Kevin Stewart. Hull hadn't conceded a first-half goal this season. That didn't bother Afobe. The Stoke loanee has hit the ground running and is the embodiment of the confidence the Robins play with. Famara Jeju isn't a man short on confidence either, although he's yet to score in the league this season. A combination of George Long and Burke stopping him this time. The City continued to push to increase their lead. They were caught out. George Honeyman doing the grunt work to win the ball. Stewart spotting the run of Jared Bowen, and the Hull striker kept his cool to score just before the break and make sure the sides went in level. The Tigers were now the side playing with confidence, and the break in play didn't halt their momentum, although Tom Eaves will regret going for power over placement. Hull weren't taking their chances, and a 2-minute spell punished their failure to find the net. Burke, so close to scoring the opening goal, put through his own net to give the visitors the lead again. The carbon copy ball from the right gave Johnson's side a 2-goal cushion. Afobe again on target, while his parent club Stoke are propping up the championship. His goal secured a 3rd win on the bounce.
I did say to the boys that obviously Hull are a good side, but I believed our bench would win us the game, and I think that proved that today. When the energy came on, it just gave us a little lift, and the boys had worked like Trojans in the first sort of 60 minutes, and then the subs just helped us get through.
Listen, we've talked a bit about Preston North End over the last 2 weeks, but I want to point out last time they won their first 3 home games, they reached the playoffs. Away wins need to come along with that. What a 7 days, though, 3 wins in a row for Bristol City, and all very different as well. They had to tough it out a bit today.
They did have to tough it out, but as you say, to go and win at Derby, that's a magnificent result, and a win again. So Hull, after going behind, Benik Afobe there scoring, he could get 20 goals this season.
We said it there earlier in the week, it's a team built for him. Now listen, let's have a look at Borough Millwall. Ryan Shotton, I think, had a really good game for a penalty for Millwall. And all fans say they don't get the decisions. I think there's a chance Borough haven't got 4 penalties already this season they should have had. This one's a stonewall, isn't it?
Well,
2 hands.
How it's not given, he puts his arm up. What's he even doing that? And then at the back post here, Colin.
Now, that one is much more difficult. Of course, Woodgate's going to say it was a penalty. Harris might say different. No matter how many times we slow that down, people in our team have said, is that his hip? I think it was the arm.
When you slow it down, I think it's the arm. They're very, very unfortunate, starting in his managerial career, not to get these decisions.
Yeah, Randolph, by the way, brilliant today. But let's go. After the break, we head down to the Thames to see if Nottingham Forest could sink a Fulham team beginning to find their flow.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Mega deals and then some at Currys PC World.
Save £200 on this HP 24-inch Pavilion PC with Ryzen 5 processor, 256GB fast start SSD, all for just $649. Get £50 off the marked price on 2 or more built-in appliances. This versatile hotpoint oven has easy clean catalytic liners, now $249. And save £30 on the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1-inch, now just $169, including free McAfee antivirus at Currys PC World.
He's my data self. Hello. We met at Experian. Cheers. I help him with financial decisions. He's a genius. He shows me which credit cards I'm likely to be accepted for. That's because I know things like his financial history, but not things like where to go for a pre-match pint.
Find out how your data self can help you make better financial decisions at Experian.
Save on everything in our bank holiday sale. Like £100 off this solid hardwood TV unit. Only at Oak Furnitureland. Ends Monday.
As an introduction to some of our breathtaking resorts, stylish accommodation and world-class dining, you and your family could be enjoying a free week of accommodation for up to 6 people at a CLC World resort or hotel. Go to clcworld.tv. You won't believe what you CLC.
Leave a gift in your will and help be there for every child. Search NSPCC Guardians to request your free legacy information pack.
With a Now TV Sky Cinema Pass, the action doesn't stop when the sun goes down. So start your 7-day free trial, kick off your flip-flops and dive into over 1,000 movies. Stream the hottest films that everyone's talking about, all without a contract. And with so much to choose from, there's something for everyone. To start your 7-day free trial of over 1,000 movies with no contract, search Now TV.
I know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And you come to me on a summer breeze.
At Wren, we design, make, deliver and install our kitchens. It's how we keep quality high and prices low. Hurry, summer sale now on.
Buying a new car? Don't do it the old way. Traipsing around dealers, haggling, never knowing if you're getting a good deal. Go to CarWow. There's everything you need to confidently choose and buy the right car. When you're ready, we'll bring you offers from local and national approved dealers. Compare your offers by price, location and dealer rating and buy directly from your preferred dealer. No haggling, no hidden charges and CarWow buyers save on average £3,600. Get the right deal on your new car. Go to carwow.com now.
This is the one, Gareth.
Gareth's gone for a little detour. So you want to look the cat's pajamas. And so far, Bevan, you've tried on 19 shirts in Fandango pink. My friend, you're not looking in the right places. It's like insurance. You want to look out for a better deal. But you're not the kind of guy who only looks on comparison sites. No! You check Direct Line, too, like a good boy. Knock him dead.
The elegance, the charm, the drama is back. Live the grand country life for yourself with amazing savings on Downton Abbey-inspired getaways to historic castles, elegant manor houses and beautiful countryside retreats. All available now at Secret Escapes. To celebrate the release of Downton Abbey, we're giving away a fantastic film location tour and a 3-night break at a stunning stately home hotel. Enter now at secretescapes.com.
Explore the further reaches of fringe science.
To be taken forcibly on board a craft is terrifying.
UFO Night starts with UFOs, The Lost Evidence. Tonight from 9 on Discovery. Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Welcome back to the EFL on the Quest. Now, after a wake-up call for Fulham with an opening day defeat at Barnsley, the Cottagers have started to look lethal. After running riot against Millwall on Wednesday, Scott Parker, of course, kept the same front three of Mitrovic, Cavallero and Knockaert. Now, it was a good point for Forest at Charlton on Wednesday night after being properly outplayed in the first half at the Valley. And Sabri Lamouchi gave goalkeeper Bryce Samba his debut in this one in the league. And Dan Mason takes us to the River.
Little 1-2 between Lolly and Sal. Another one with Silva. Lovely stuff from Forest. Jack Robinson now. There's Grabban and Forest lead. Barely 3 minutes on the clock. Wonderful passing move from the away side. They've beaten Fulham at their own game here. Lolly was at the heart of it. Robinson's cross was perfection. And the finish wasn't bad either. Sessegnon. And Knockaert, his ball in. Well on top now. Lolly, poor clearance. Here's Joe Bryan, just wide. Well, for all their possession, this is as close as Fulham have come to a goal. Here's Cavaliero. It's tempting to count the Fulham passes sometimes. Here's Mitrovic going alone. And safely gathered by Bruce Samba. Fulham increasingly controlling the game now, though. Robinson hurls in another long one. Grabban now. So Lolly makes himself available. There is Silva. Went for the spectacular. A chance for Thiago Silva and Forrest. Found the space in the Fulham ranks, though. Towering header from Michael Dawson, who hasn't done a lot wrong today. Now there's one for Grabban to get after. His goal side of Mawson, saved by Bettinelli. Grabban with a shot. Another let-off for Fulham. Knockout. Still looking very lively. Kearney finds Joe Bryan. Cavaliero now. There's Knockout. Great save by Samba. Fingertip stuff from the New Forest keeper. And the long build-up begins with Mawson. Sessegnon now. Oh, he's giving it away. And Grabban, he could be in here. Grabban, can he find the finish? Yes, he can! 2-0 Forest, completely against the run of play. They've soaked up all the pressure. Fulham with all the possession. Forest with all the goals. A mistake by young Steven Sessegnon. Fulham do overplay at times. And Grabban has punished them. Forest lead by 2 at the Cottage. And he needs support here. Cavaliero offering it. There's cross. There's Sessegnon. Oh, another good save by Samba. It was deflected too. Maybe an even better stop. Knockout with the Fulham corner. Here's Tim Ream. All big appeals for handball. But just a corner. Robinson threw himself at that. Bryan. Here's Kamara, who's been hugging that touchline ever since coming on. He takes on his man again. Boubacar Kamara. Here's Mitrovic. Oh, and Fulham are back in it. Aleksandar Mitrovic pulls one back with 7 minutes left in the 90. It is a brilliantly improvised finish. And Fulham have hope. Knockout with another corner, so much pressure on Forest. There's Arter, oh! It was a sweet volley from Harry Arter, but Worrell got his head to it.
I don't think Fulham fans are going to like me saying this, but I think Lamouchi deserves a lot of credit because he's looked at how they've played Fulham, almost unstoppable of late. More teams might do this at the Cottage. Just give the ball up, sit behind it. What was it, 23% possession? It worked.
Well, it does work. That's what you have to do. And you look at Michael Dawson, you've got Joe Worrell at the central defenders controlling things, one older one younger one. And just trying to marshal that defence, out of possession. How much can you limit this Fulham attacking 3? And they did that today.
And another day could have been a different story. Fulham had their chances. But when you're giving that much of the ball away, you've got to take your chances the away team. And this goal from inside the ramp was so beautifully worked.
It's well worked. It goes from one side to the other. We just see that one-touch passing, and they've carved Fulham over. And we know defensively at times, that's a wonderful finish at the back. Defensively at times, Fulham need to improve. We know that. That's historic from last season. But 2 great goals from Grabban. The second one, fantastic finish as well, in off the the top corner, and he's in the goals, 4 goals so far.
A lot of people think, a lot of people predicted Leeds Fulham top 2. Well, they've went away to Leeds and they've went away to Fulham. They get 4 points from that, so that's brilliant. Two more games for you now, back-to-back, finishing with a trip to Huddersfield for a Reading side who are looking up this season. But first to the Kiyan Prince Foundation Stadium as QPR and Wigan met, both of them starting the day in the bottom six.
Wednesday's home defeat by Swansea prompted Rangers boss Mark Warburton to make 6 changes, but Wigan's Cedric Kipre had undermined his best-laid plans within 2 minutes. The defender's first goal for the club and Wigan's first in the league since the opening day of the season. Early on, Paul Cook's team were just too hot to handle. When Daniel Fox created this opening for Michael Jacobs, Rangers' defence was saved by the post. Those 6 changes were taking time to settle. But the home side eventually stirred themselves. More possession and more chances. But Elias Chair troubled only the side netting on this occasion. Warburton's half-time words must have been punchy. 3 minutes after the restart, Ryan Manning on the left found Angel Ralgen on the right, and Naki Wells, leading the attack in place of Jordan Hugill, turned in the equaliser. Wigan will question why the cross was allowed to run so far. Rangers then went more direct on the hour. Eberichi Eze's free kick expertly drilled beyond David Marshall for his second goal of the season. And it looks even better on the replay. But not for the Wigan defence, whose afternoon was disintegrating fast. Rangers sensed their opportunity to cash in, but Wells' cross turned into a contender for miss of the day for substitute Jordan Hugill, who'd found the target without difficulty in midweek. But the West Ham loanee wasn't bothered. Eze's pass found him in space, still with plenty to do, but technique and precision then took over. Marshall had no chance. After a slow start, Rangers had their first championship win in the Kiyan Prince Foundation Stadium.
We were frustrated at half-time. I've got to be honest, that was our worst half of football so far this season. So we were being bullied, they were more aggressive, they were sharper than we were, and we were wasteful in possession. So we had to respond, and all credit to the players. They responded so well and got the rewards in the second half.
Premature to talk about a crisis as early as August, but so far Huddersfield have given their fans little to get excited about in what's been a truly dire calendar year. The Terriers had the better of a lacklustre first half against Reading. Trevor Shalabar with the flashy strike, which unfortunately for him flashed the wrong side of the post. Confidence is low and the new manager, whoever he is, will need to lift morale. Nothing doing early in the second half for Carlan Grant. Raphael with the save. And having survived a scare or two, the Royals decided it was time to offer up a few threats of their own. John Swift set up Andy Yiadom, whose effort crashed back off the frame of the goal. The home side hanging on there, but self-belief was draining away, and there was more trouble almost immediately. Omar Richards with the cross, Lucas Boye forcing Liverpool loanee Kamil Grabara into an important save. He's had quite a few of those to make this season already. With only one victory since last November, Huddersfield have more or less forgotten what it takes to win. Caretaker manager Mark Hudson said he couldn't fault their work ethic, but his side were about to fade badly after Alex Pritchard's effort had been repelled by Raphael, and this one would be decided in those closing 20 minutes. Now it was the Royals sensing that an away win was up for grabs, and when Swift set up Ovie Ejaria, the early take was too quick for his fellow Liverpool loanee Grabara, who couldn't react in time. That's 2 in as many matches for Ejaria. Then, with 6 minutes left, the killer blow. Again, Swift involved. Michael Morrison's header going in off the post. Comfortable in the end for Reading, but with a manager gone and winless now in 5 in the league, perhaps August isn't too early to talk about a crisis enveloping the troubled Terriers.
11 opportunities, 2 on target. It's not enough. It's not enough when we are on top in games. And if we play that way, we will be on top in games more. But we need to score and put the ball in the net, and we didn't.
Well, somebody knows something, because the odds in the Huddersfield manager, Hannes Wolf, is odds-on favourite. Everybody knows who he is, but let me just tell you, he was at Hamburg, Lest, Borussia Dortmund reserves before that. This is déjà vu a little bit, if you're a Huddersfield fan. But whoever's manager, they've got to tackle this same old problem. And the caretaker manager's just summed it up.
Well, he has. He's just saying, Mark Hudson, he wants the job himself. He wants to show them what he can do, but they need to score goals. And that's the problem they've got. They need to improve very, very quickly.
Reading well deserved the 3 points today, as did QPR. And what we should do, if we weren't scumbags, is show the 3 QPR goals coming from one down early on, show their character. Talk about the good start to the season. Instead, here's the Jordan Hugill miss 3 times.
We're not going to show it, are we?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Do we have to?
This is... Now, Jordan has responded to our tweet that we put out, because we actually tweeted this out in Quest. He's great humour about it. He said the sun was in his eyes and it bubbled, and so he knows, listen, he's some player, isn't he?
He is a great player. He'll be getting some serious stick all week and for a long, long period of time. And he holds his hand up there and you know he's thinking, oh no, I'm in big trouble. But a great finish, by the way, after that, and put it right.
Just Dundee tap-ins. Right, when Derby met West Brom in May, a 3-1 win saw them make the playoffs. Aston Villa eventually saw them bolt off to ensure they wouldn't be escaping the EFL and Quest this season. So let's see how they get on in today's lunchtime kickoff. Kevin Keating's your commentator.
Philip Cocu comes from a nation, the Netherlands, where they're not frightened to blood youngsters. And against a very experienced West Bromwich Albion side, 2 18-year-olds, including the left-back here, Buchanan, starting a league game for the very first time. Marriott. Now Waghorn, as we expected, is starting on the right. He's played a lot of his career as a central striker. Down he goes under the challenge penalty. And there aren't too many complaints from West Bromwich Albion. Martin Waghorn causing the problems there. But what a really poor challenge this is from Kieran Gibbs. Waghorn with a couple of goals already this season to give Derby the perfect start. No nonsense. And Derby County off to a flyer here. And a very confident penalty from Waghorn. Huddleston finding Lee Buchanan. Claims that the ball had gone out. Play on, says the referee. Tells possibly for handball there against Kravinovic. And the referee has given another penalty here. Slaven Bilic had plenty to say following the award of that second Derby penalty, so it's going to be a yellow card for Bilic. But Martin Waghorn is poised to take his second penalty of this first half. Oh, it's a fine save. Well, that is an excellent save from Sam Johnston. He backed himself that Waghorn was changing sides there. And it was a terrific stop. Matt Phillips. Sawyer's lovely pass. And the chance is missed. Well, he's been waiting for that. The service has been pretty much non-existent in this first half for Kenneth Zohore. One-on-one with Rose. The goalkeeper doing enough. Huddleston into space here for Buchanan. Possibilities here for Derby. Lovely cutback. Knight! Carried away by Johnston. And a wild effort too, in close succession. First from Marriott, then from Knight. Keogh first to the loose ball here. Waghorn! It's a good effort, a smart save from Johnston. Pereira shuffles away from Lawrence. Lucky to get a second bite at that. It's Mateus Pereira. Kravinovic. Pereira onside. Down he goes. Referee says penalty to West Bromwich Albion. Great work from the Brazilian substitute Mateus Pereira. And Max Lowe suckered into the challenge here. But it's Kenneth Zohore who scored from the spot to earn Albion a point in midweek against Reading. and could be on the mark to earn them a point here at Derby. Very cool and composed, and outfoxing Keller Roos. Dean Garner. It's been a handful since he came on. Gets the better here of Keogh. And here's the chance! Oh, vital block. Yeah, I think there was a touch of the fullback. That's crucial. Slaven Bilic has been shown a red card. Well, I think that was always coming today. And in the sunshine, in the Championship, an eventful match in the end. Here at Pride Park, it's finished. Derby County 1, West Bromwich Albion 1.
This was the early game. We've got to save a bit of time. Michael, you were incensed watching this early kick-off. 3 penalty decisions. Your opinion?
I've not calmed down yet. I'm going to give him the first one. Yeah. The second one is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what the assistant referee's doing. It's never a penalty. Third one, again, I can see why the referee gives it, but ultimately he's got it wrong. They then decide, obviously the referee decides to send off Gavin Ward, sends off Slaven Bilic. For what? For having a go at decisions which are ridiculous.
Yeah, still hasn't calmed down. More Championship still to come. And, of course, we're going to bring you all the goals from Leagues 1 and 2. 65 in total. This might not even be in the top 3.
Did you bring the bibs?
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
At Wickes right now, there's buy one, get one half price on all paint, including great brands like Dulux, plus all undercoat, gloss and emulsion. Wickes.
Free from pasta, free from pizza, cornflakes. Anything else, Jake?
Biscuits.
Some tissues, please.
Every day, we deliver over 15 million items to our stores to make sure that we've got everything you need, whenever you need it.
Have a look.
You remember to call me, yeah?
Ready?
Morrison's, our brand, lower prices, everything you need, just when you need it.
Switch to Sky's superfast broadband. We'll guarantee your speeds or your money back in the first 30 days. It's totally unlimited, perfect for non-stop gaming and watching your favourite shows back to back. So get superfast broadband for just £27 a month, and that's including line rental. Join or recontract today. Simply search Sky Broadband.
Established in 2002, Watchfinder is where you'll get great value on thousands of pre-owned watches from over 50 brands like Rolex, Breitling, Omega and more. There's everything from vintage classics to cutting-edge contemporary bestsellers. And every single one is inspected at our manufacturer-certified service centre. All of our watches are in stock and available for free next-day delivery. Buy, sell and exchange your watch online and in store at Watchfinder.
News just in. Learn how to improve your credit score with Totally Money.
And get better credit offers.
Now down with the weather.
Get your credit scoring report at totallymoney.com.
At Glasses Direct, all of these glasses are 2 pairs for £19, including lenses. You should go direct to glassesdirect.co.uk.
This is my new bedroom from Oak Furnitureland. I've gone for a sort of painted shades of grey kind of look, which I didn't know they did. It's 100% solid hardwood. Now, guess how much I paid for it?
Get all this bedroom furniture with no deposit for less than £36 per month.
It's a steal. Well, not a steal. That would be wrong.
With 4 years to pay at 9.9% APR representative, you can order now at Oak Furnitureland.
The elegance, the charm, the drama is back. Live the grand country life for yourself with amazing savings on Downton Abbey-inspired getaways to historic castles, elegant manor houses and beautiful countryside retreats. All available now at Secret Escapes. To celebrate the release of Downton Abbey, we're giving away a fantastic film location tour and a 3-night break at a stunning stately home hotel. Enter now at secretescapes.com.
What you're about to see is based on a true insurance claim. In this reconstruction, Margaret Mahoney is played by Gio Compario. It was just another normal day in Margaret's normal life, but a chance encounter would turn her world upside down. We never know what's around the corner, which is why Go Compare now gives £250 free excess cover for when the unexpected happens.
It's here. The Amazon end of summer sale is now on. With amazing offers on electronics, gaming, kitchen and home appliances, as well as everything else you might need. The Amazon end of summer sale is full of surprises. Now on.
Ancient barns all across America have been abandoned. Mark, and others like him, are bringing new life to neglected barns.
We got something we can save here.
Miracle Workers in Action. Barnwood Builders starts Thursday the 5th of September on DMAX.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Welcome back. Our last championship roundup sees last season's class acts of League One, Barnsley and Luton, come face to face in the championship. But first we head to Ewood Park.
You have to go all the way back to 1984 for Cardiff's last defeat in Blackburn, and Neil Warnock's side started the stronger as they looked to add to an impressive record at Ewood Park. Leandro Bacuna with an early chance that struck a post with some force. Blackburn's top goal scorers from last season, Danny Graham and Bradley Dack, only have one between them so far. And despite their good understanding, they couldn't find a way past Sean Morrison's brave defending. Rovers' struggles in front of goal were matched by the visitors. Lee Tomlin's shot doing little to trouble Christian Walton as the first half ended goalless. Joe Rolls followed suit with Bacuna from the first half, hitting a post half an hour into the second half. The frustration now starting to show. All three of Blackburn's goals so far this season have come from set pieces, so Tony Mowbray would have been hopeful with the ball in this position. Derek Williams couldn't get a strike on target. He claimed that was because of the contact from Lee Peltier. Referee David Coote disagreed. Rovers managed to muster another attempt to end their run of games without a goal from open play. Lewis Travis's deep cross eventually fell to Williams. He hit the same post Bacuna had rattled in the first half. There was little between these two sides before kick-off, and nothing could separate them after 90 minutes.
It was a trip home from home for 6 of the Luton squad, who were back on their old stomping ground, and it took just 2 minutes for one of the Barnsley old boys to make his presence felt. Jacob Butterfield with an absolute belter. The Hatters were looking to bounce back from last weekend's first home defeat since March 2018, and they were certainly on course to do just that when a second goal arrived just 3 minutes later. James Collins proving to be lethal from around a yard, thanks to an assist from James Bree. Unbeaten home records is something Barnsley know a little about too. Theirs stretched back to March of this year, but that stat didn't look like it would linger much beyond 4:45 as their defence continued to wobble. Sonny Bradley's header only missed by a whisker. The ease with which Luton carved open the Tykes' defence will have been one of the most worrying aspects of this performance for manager Daniel Stendel, who could only look on as the visitors threatened again. No one picked up Collins until it was almost too late. Luckily for the home side, Sammy Radlinger was on his toes. It felt like another Luton goal was in the post, and it was delivered just after the half-hour mark. Joy for the 1100 who'd made the journey north as Harry Cornick pounced on a loose ball. A first league win of the season was surely now a shoo-in. Unless, of course, something miraculous happened, and for that to be the case, the Tykes had to respond rapidly. Malik Wilkes thought he had, but Simon Sluga was at his acrobatic best. And the Luton keeper was destined to be a busy man after the break as the home side threw everything at him. Mamadou Thiam, the latest Barnsley player to take aim. Mind you, there was absolutely nothing Sluga could do when Wilkes was left to his own devices 8 yards out. Cue his first goal of the season and a spring in the Barnsley step. But try as they might, and they certainly did, especially Alex Mowat, who went closest to keeping the dream alive, it was a disappointing afternoon for the Barnsley faithful and their manager, who apologised afterwards for a performance he felt was unacceptable.
Easiest 45 seconds of your night. Luton started brilliantly. The game was over half an hour in or whatever it was.
It was 31 minutes, 3. There were 2 up after 5 minutes. It was a come out there. It was a great strike by Butterfield, and just continue, just look mistakes there for Barnsley, which is unlike them at home.
Both these teams coming up are in the bottom 4 favourites to go down. Barnsley's home form will be crucial for them. They might be thereabouts. I loved how they got up last season with the young team. I'm less worried about Luton. I think a lot of teams are going to worry going to Kenilworth. They're not going to like that. They're not going to like it up them, as the old phrase is.
They're not going to like it. We know they're going to play good football. That's what Graham Jones will want. The first win now, that'll give them confidence, especially to go and win on the road at Barnsley, unbeaten in 29 at home, which is some stat. So it'll be interesting, but they're both only on 4 points. Could be a struggle.
Shall see. Right, our final game of the Championship now is we're off to see Brentford, who were down the valley to face Charlton, who started with a bang. Tom Skippings provided the words.
Well, Brentford have the edge so far in terms of possession and chances created, but neither side have come up with too much so far. But Cullen has done well in midfield there, and here is Williams. And here is a chance for Charlton. Conor Gallagher makes it 1-0. Well, when the chance came for the home side, they took it. An impressive finish from the youngster. Well, all the talk this season so far has been about Lyle Taylor, but Charlton have 2 goal scorers in form. It's his 3rd of the season. Created with yet another assist by Johnny Williams, and impressively finished by Conor Gallagher. Dalsgaard. Down the line, chance for Watkins to take on Pratley. Watkins cuts inside into the box, gets the shot away, and it's tipped over the crossbar, I think, by Phillips. First real opportunity for Watkins to show what he can do, and the keeper kept him out. Makocha, Marcondes in space. Brentford asking all the questions at the moment. Makocha again, Charlton dropping deeper and deeper. Jensen will try one from distance, pushed away again by Phillips. And Charlton clear the danger once more. Phillips definitely the busier keeper. Mbuemo, Benrahma, Canos. Benrahma again, another chance here for Brentford. It's blocked by at least one defender. Possibly 2, it's still not clear. Marcondes! Pearce throws his body in the way. The penalty area is littered with Charlton bodies. They are throwing themselves on the line here. Comes again to Jensen. Clips it out wide to Mbuemo in acres of space. Fires it across the face of goal. Dalsgaard! Another Charlton player blocks it, still not clear. Benrahma, Canos! Field with the block. Was there a handball there? Lee Bowyer's side are hanging on. Well, the appeals are waved away. Pearce with 1 block, then Field. No penalty. Well, he'll have easier afternoons, but Lee Bowyer's Charlton remain unbeaten in the Championship. They've edged the derby 1-0.
Well, an AFL Inquest debut for Sam Saunders, who's delighted it's all day in the office. Loads of League 1 and 2 to get into. One to bring you in for a minute on Brentford, though. First of all, Charlton didn't play that well and won, which will thrill the fans.
Well, they will. Lockyer, Pratley at the base of that diamond. So it's about winning. Doesn't matter at the moment to be at top of the league.
Yeah, Johnny Williams, 4 assists, the most. Now, Brentford, I think it's 2 goals in 5. It's highlighted with Maupay going. How worried within the club, which you're at, are you about that at the moment?
No, they're not.
Need solved?
Not worried at all, because they're creating chances. They brought in Nikos Corrales, free transfer this week from Genk. So hopefully that would take the burden off of Ollie Watkins, who's playing through the middle this early part of the season, when he's really predominantly a left winger.
Only get 30 seconds, but I want to say this. We have problems at clubs at the moment. Bury going right to the wire, Bolton in real trouble. Brentford do it right. We can't criticise Brentford for selling players to balance the books. That's responsible ownership.
No, and everyone says they're a selling club, but all 4 of their front men got bids for this summer. and they kept 3 of them. So they sell on their terms, and like I say, they have got to balance the books, and they say there's not an end of money of cash that you can carry on going with, and they got a great deal from Magpie.
Yeah, really right. Let's have a look at the tables now. Great to have Sam here. Leeds United extend their lead at the top of the table to 2 points. Charlton are up to second with that, and their unbeaten start continues. Bristol City climbed to 4th after a 3rd win on the bounce. Luton ended Barnsley's 29 unbeaten home league run, as Michael said, to pick up their first win of the season and climb to 18th. The bottom 2, Stoke and Huddersfield, are the only 2 sides yet to win. OK, after the break, it's League 1 and League 2, where it's been another day of some of the most competitive football you'll find anywhere on the planet. Do not go anywhere, trust me.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
As a lollipop lady, I'm up with the lark. Morning. And on me zebra, whether it's pelting or sweltering. Because they won't get to school if I don't. Watch it, you. Actimel Cultured Shot with L-Casei contains vitamin D and B6 to help support the normal function of the immune system. Actimel. Give the day your best shot.
Our busy lives can make it difficult to get the nutrition we need, which could lead to problems for your hair. Vitamin, zinc and biotin contribute to the maintenance of normal hair. Try Viviscal Max Strength supplements. Viviscal has been specially formulated to include biotin, zinc and amino mast C. It's one of the most scientifically researched brands, with visible results in 3 months. Help maintain normal hair. Try Viviscal today, available online and in stores.
What you're about to see is based on a true insurance claim. In this reconstruction, Margaret Mahoney is played by Gio Compario. It was just another normal day in Margaret's normal life, but a chance encounter would turn her world upside down. We never know what's around the corner, which is why Go Compare now gives £250 free excess cover for when the unexpected happens.
You can save loads this bank holiday weekend with extra savings on everything until Monday at SCS. There's extra savings on sofas. This one's $389 till bank holiday Monday. Extra savings on sofas like this, just $485, but not for long. And extra savings on carpets. This one's now $7.99 a square metre till Monday. Plus, buy any carpeting, we'll pay for the fitting. But hurry, extra savings like this $299 sofa and bank holiday Monday at SCS.
At Glasses Direct, all of these designer glasses are 2 pairs for £39, including lenses. You should go direct to glassesdirect.co.uk.
I joined Elite Singles because I wanted to find somebody that I could truly click with.
EliteSingles.co.uk, helping you find chemistry that lasts.
Petrol and power cords could make gardening a chore. So G-Tech's cordless garden range is powered by lithium-ion batteries. Our cordless lawnmower runs for up to 40 minutes and recharges in just an hour. Our cordless grass trimmer will trim the edges and hard-to-reach areas. And our lightweight hedge trimmer cuts high up and down low without bending. Just a perfect finish. Call the number on screen or visit gtech.co.uk.
Some saw us as strange, as troublemakers, as an embarrassment. All we ever saw was a team.
We never know what's around the corner, which is why Go Compare now gives £250 free excess cover for when the unexpected happens.
The Victoria Plum summer sale is now on. Save up to 70% on a fantastic range of bathroom products. Hurry, sale must end soon.
We spend 4 months in town, but that's not really home. Home is here. I hope that our family keeps going.
Brand new The Last Alaskans starts Monday the 2nd of September on Quest and Quest OD.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Welcome back. There's only one place we can start our League One coverage. That's with Bury. A stay of execution to Tuesday. The new owners agreed to sell the club to somebody else. Due diligence is happening. Bolton are also on the clock. More news of that this evening. We know the stories. We know there's enough blame to go around. We need to start the conversation of how to stop this happening. I don't care if your ideas are foolproof. Michael, how do we stop this being the same thing in 4, 8, 12 years from now?
Well, if you look, the previous owner of Bury, Stuart Day, was allowed to take on a lot of debt with no control. The new owner, Steve Dale, comes in, buys it for £1 and commits no money. So at that point, they need to find out whatever agreements have been taken on. They have to be filed with the EFL, and if they feel like they're getting out of control, then they don't give the players registration.
So almost like the money has to be there, at least 6 months. There it is.
They have to show them, Colin. They have to show them what they're signing into, what debt they're putting in place.
Sam, what would you like to see happen in the near future?
Well, I said there's no coincidence that 3-4 years ago, when Bury are splashing the money and giving 3-year deals out, you need to have some kind of plan into how are we going to play this lad for 3 years? Because if you do that with 20 players and they haven't got the money to prove it, it's just that you'd need some proof up front for me to be able to give these contracts. And if they haven't got the proof of money, then they can't sign the deals.
My problem is the owners are already there at this stage. They bought the lottery ticket to the promised land. I want to stop them. I want to say, look, you cannot sell off this ground. How can we have listed buildings that are over 100 years old, but we don't list these great football grounds? I'm sorry, you can't sell it off. You can't sell off the car park. You can't build a hotel and sell it off. That needs to happen. And also, you shouldn't be allowed to take money out of a club and put it into another company with the promises of it coming back. Because, Michael, it often doesn't.
Well, it doesn't come back, and they can move the finances where they want. They can be creative in these clubs. We've seen it, especially lower down where it's tight. They move certain things around, and you've just got to be careful where this goes. They allow a new owner at Bury to come in only recently with all of that debt, yet doesn't put any more money into it.
Could we talk about the elephant in the room? The salary cap. It's a good time to reconsider it. And you can do what baseball does. Yes, you can spend above the salary cap if it's within your means, and you can show you have that money to support that going forward, but you pay a luxury tax. And those other clubs you get a financial advantage over in your league, like in baseball, they get some money back.
It's very difficult. Very difficult to stop everybody for who's worth, who can score the goals. It's a tough one, but it's a full control of the football club, and people are being allowed to do what they want.
Yeah, you're right, it is very difficult, and probably nothing we said right now is foolproof, but it's so important we start talking about that because there's enough blame to go around. Let's look for solutions. And also, let's get on with the football now. Coventry then, fresh from the comeback of the season midweek, and yet to concede a goal at their home, away from home, St Andrews. They welcome Gillingham.
Clear blue skies for the Sky Blues so far this season after 5 games unbeaten in all competitions. 4 minutes into this one, an early indication that the run might continue. Wesley Yabello picked out Matty Godden, who found Jack Bonham in the way. By contrast, Gillingham was still looking for a first league win, although the midweek draw with Blackpool was some encouragement. They were certainly having to work hard to get anything here, and Mark Burns' commitment to block Zane Westbrook's shot was impressive. Unfortunately for the Gills, the corner that it led to wasn't repelled. Westbrook's delivery evading everyone but Dominic Hyam at the far post. The Scottish defender with his first goal for almost a year on his first start of the season. And 3 minutes later, Coventry might have doubled their advantage. Another cross not dealt with, and Godden frustrated again, this time by Max Amer on the line. At that stage, Coventry's impressive start to the campaign looked to be in no danger at all, but in the end they rather limped over the line. 15 minutes from time, Gillingham substitute Michael Njoli drew a superb save from Marco Morosi, and the visitors definitely finished the stronger, but they're still waiting for a first league win, while Coventry are turning St Andrews into something of a borrowed fortress.
Doncaster's unbeaten start to the season has been steady rather than spectacular, but that changed against Lincoln. Now Ennis produced Rovers' best moment of the season so far, an expertly taken first senior goal for the 20-year-old. Despite the quality of that opener, Lincoln found plenty to complain about here. Danny Cowley maintains they should have been given 3 penalties at the Keepmoats. They got none. What's more, unlike Lincoln, Donny had no match in midweek and were far better rested. On Friday, Cowley claimed it was nigh on impossible for the Imps to get a result, but they could have done. Lincoln levelled the match shortly before the hour mark. George Grant's equaliser was deserved, as the Imps' performance belied the manager's dire prediction. But for the second straight game, Lincoln ended up with nothing to show for it. Despite saves from Kieran Sadlier and Keziah Sterling, Josh Vickers was finally beaten by John Taylor, and Doncaster were on their way to a second win of the season. That was rough on Lincoln, who in the last few days have suffered their first defeat since promotion. John Akindi's header was as close as they came to salvaging a point.
Leaders Blackpool could have predicted a resolute Rochdale reaction to losing their unbeaten record in midweek. And home goalkeeper Robert Sanchez set the tone with a reflex save from Armand Nandouillet, the visitors' best chance of the first half. Ian Henderson and Callum Camps can usually be relied on to cause trouble for the home side. And their neat combination soon after the restart, with Camps aiming for his 4th goal in as many league and cup matches, was a timely reminder to Simon Grayson's side. In a game of few clear-cut chances, the outcome was in the balance 4 minutes into stoppage time, when Blackpool will wonder how they didn't score. James Husband's hopeful cross somehow eluded the previously eagle-eyed Sanchez, bouncing through his legs and then back off the post, hacked away by Rhys Norrington-Davis. Defeat would have been harsh on Rochdale. Blackpool stay unbeaten.
The good ship Southend United couldn't have made a worse start to the season. With no points on the board, it was a case of all hands on deck. Appropriately, it was Brandon Goodship who put the wind in their sails early at Wycombe with his first goal since February 2016. The Shrimpers impressed in building up ahead of steam, and it was no surprise when they doubled their lead on the half hour. Anchors away for Stephen Humphreys, his first for the club, a beauty. The Chairboys were looking for a lifeline, and it came in almost comical circumstances. Scott Cashket's jinking run had the Shrimpers all at sea, and Mark Milligan, tacking back to help his defenders, unwittingly blasted the ball past his own keeper. But early in the second half, Southend struck again. Humphreys with a well-placed long-range effort that went past keeper Ryan Alsop at a rate of knots to leave Wycombe's unbeaten league record seemingly heading for the rocks. They may have been taking on water, but the Chairboys then found someone to bail them out. Cashket had already made a nuisance of himself, and 10 minutes after the break, he gave his side some hope with his first goal of the season. The waters were going to get really choppy now for the visitors, but it looked as if they would ride out the storm after all. Then came the first of 2 cruel blows. Anthony Stewart's first goal in almost 2 years levelled things up with a minute left of normal time. That was bad. Worse was to come. Deep into stoppage time, Cashket turned up again to steer his side to an unlikely 3 points. The Shrimpers sunk without trace and off to their worst start in club history. In contrast, under the stewardship of Gareth Ainsworth and his firm hand on the tiller, it's full steam ahead for Wycombe.
The Wycombe Wanderers, come on, this is I think this is one of the proudest moments in our history. So no, listen, it's great to be up there, but this is a long season. I'd be very naive to think we've cracked anything now. We're just getting as many points on the board as we can.
I want to quickly mention Coventry, unbeaten start the season, going great guns with everything they're up against, going to St Andrews, 11 points, joint top of League One table. I kind of say when you come in today, we're probably not going to talk about Wycombe because we've talked about them a bit recently. We have to.
No,
we just have to.
Fantastic. Another 7-goal thriller. Adams Park, you see, going 2-0 down, the resilience of the squad that they have there, it just represents what Ainsworth was like as a player and as a manager. Just to never say die, never give in. Scotty Cashket popping up with goals. The kid is goals. Look at that, cool as ice in the box. Nick Freeman coming on as well. Particularly mentioned Freeman coming on the sub. He has to be very patient there, and every time he comes on and delivers and sets Scotty up there, and he'd probably claim that own goal as well, knowing Scotty.
Listen, you both played for teams, had great starts to the season. Southend have had a stinker. It's 3-1 up. How does that play on your mind as a player on the pitch? Do you still feel it could go belly up because of the start you've had?
You do, and it is confidence. You get that nerves. You're actually quite shocked that you're leading.
Right.
And it's about that composure with your teammates, and it only comes with those couple of results. In Kevin Bond, you'd think he's been around for such a long time, he'd actually bring that composure, and it'll just need a little bit of time.
It'll come, hopefully. Big win for Darren Moore today. And even when Mark was going, Sam, when it's your two signings that do the business for you, that helps not just with the result today, that's got to help in the dressing room as well in terms of trusting the manager.
Exactly, with the scouts as well and the recruitment guys, I reckon they'll be having the toast tonight, because you see here Sterling, who had probably an unsuccessful loan spell at Sunderland last year from Spurs, has come in and made an impact with a double substitution, setting up John Taylor's goal, who's a real threat in this league, scoring and assisting from out wide. You see that, and it could be a real good 3 points against a promotion contender in Lincoln.
Niall Ennis, the opening goal there, you know, it's the story behind the player, and I don't know whether he had to throw in the towel and he's had that many problems.
Well, it's so difficult. I think in 2016 he broke his leg. Then the following year he had a real serious knee injury.
It was just cold cruise ship rip, wasn't it?
So to come back and to keep going, and only people in the clubs and what we go through is how you understand the amount of rehabilitation, what it takes, and to go and get a goal like that, and to come inside like he did with that, the composure, and his finish was excellent to the top corner.
Someone once told me, what you don't realise, Colin, because you're rubbish at football, when you play professional football and everyone turns up for training every day, when you're injured, you turn left, and all your mates go right, and you don't get to see them.
Yeah, that's
and
shocking.
It's the loneliness
it
of it
is
as
shocking
well.
Because you're sitting there and you're on the bike or whatever you are, the game ready, whatever it might be, and you're seeing them laughing and joking. You're looking and seeing the same physio you're seeing day in, day out, and it's awful. But to say tonight, all that he'll learn from all them injuries, and he'll appreciate it so much more now, and he won't take a day's training for granted.
Absolutely. Well, listen, with Bury's well-documented problems, and after the Victorious Music Festival in Portsmouth meant Pompey's home tie against Rotherham was postponed, only 10 fixtures were played on Saturday in League One. So let's get another 3 of them. Starting at Bolton, who are hoping for happier times soon.
A postponement and a managerial resignation this week. Bolton keep having to roll with the punches. So they were hoping for a little good fortune against Ipswich. Instead, they faced another knockout blow. Penalised for a blink and you'd miss it handball in the area, which set the tone for another miserable afternoon. James Norwood arrived in the Northwest with 2 goals in his last 2. Now it was 3-3. Phil Parkinson's departure was prompted by his frustration with the amount of time it's taking to negotiate a takeover deal. Without the ability to buy new players, another young and inexperienced team would have a torrid afternoon, as Norwood's miss meant a hit for Guyon Edwards. There was a record low attendance at the University of Bolton Stadium, which reflected the mood amongst Wanderers faithful who could be forgiven for starting to lose that faith. Lady Luck clearly wasn't wearing a Bolton shirt either, as the visitors helped themselves to a third. Caden Jackson won't score an easier goal than that. Route 1 provided the platform for the Tractor Boys' 4th, and if Jackson had it easy with his first, there was plenty to do with his second of the match, which he skillfully dispatched. Bolton had conceded 5 in their previous 2 outings, and it was third time unlucky as Ipswich inflicted the same scoreline here. Norwood the man with the final word on a day of personal joy for him, but more misery for Bolton and their new caretaker boss, Jimmy Phillips.
Sunderland are set to be taken over by American group MSD Partners, who have links with Michael Dell of computer fame. With the new investors watching at the Stadium of Light, there was a fast start-up, Route 1 stuff, and Chris Maguire making it look easy with the chip. Just 6 minutes of the match downloaded before he made his mark. With 1 goal sitting in the Sunderland inbox, Wimbledon composed their reply. Luke O'Neill's cross searching out Kwesi Appiah. He grabbed his window of opportunity as the Sunderland defence went offline. After shutting down at half-time, a Black Cats reboot restored power. Double click from Maguire, who made it 2-1 with a flash drive. The man the Sunderland fans call King managed to pop up with a third 11 minutes from time, so he gets to save the match ball. A comprehensive win in front of the prospective new owners. With a League Cup tie against Premier League Burnley next, Jack Ross will hope for a cut-and-paste performance on Wednesday.
Shrewsbury and Burton had both scored 7 goals between them in midweek as they both won on their travels. Blame those exertions, or maybe it was the heat, but neither goalkeeper was meaningfully tested. Shrewsbury's Max O'Leary didn't break sweat to catch Oliver Sarkic's header. It was the same story when Lucas Akins sent through Scott Fraser. Tuesday's hat-trick hero at Oxford could only shoot tamely. Burton continued to create the better openings, but the lack of sharpness was glaring in the second half as much as the first. Fraser again found himself in position A, but yet again his touch deserted him, and Ryan Edwards found himself crowded out at the vital moment. The longer the game went on, the more likely one goal might just settle it. Shrewsbury's Sean Whalley got clear, and David Edwards was all set to crown his 150th appearance for the club, but in keeping with the match, the ball just sailed over the goal.
First thing I said today when I came in, can't wait for Shrewsbury Burton Albion, cannot be 0-0. Swiftly moving on, let's talk about the king. Back on his throne, Chris Maguire. I love him in League One, loved him last year when he was fit, love him this year.
Yeah, he's one of them players that's, when he's confident and fit and knows he's got his shirt, he can produce performances like this. You can see there his quality in front of goal there, nice and relaxed, it's a nice little dink. But he's one of them ones that, on his day, when he's playing like this, he's like a League One knockout. You know, he can score, he can assist. He's a real threat to the opposition throughout the game. And a club like Sunderland, they need one of them talismen because, say, teams are going to come there, especially the Stadium Light, and try and bank in.
The people who own Dell, you know, the computers, they're there. They're thinking of giving Sunderland a reboot. And terrible. No, it's terrible. I wish I hadn't said it. I hope whatever happens, and if funds do come in, that this ethos is what they keep. That they look for Chris Maguire in League One, and they look for good Championship players in the Championship if and when they go up.
Well, they've got to. I mean, it's still a case of the financials, what's the historic debt. They're looking to be in a much better place. They've got rid of some of their senior players, and they have to get success. They'll need promotion. The pressure will be on Jack Ross and his staff to deliver that. They've had some results the last couple of weeks, so a bit of pressure eased off them.
It shows what a good owner can do in terms of turning the club around and making them very quickly an attractive proposition to buy, and the damage a bad owner can do. We've talked about both tonight. Right. The rest of the League One games up after the break. And if you're thinking of going anywhere, hit that red record button or you're going to miss League Two and moments like that.
Did you bring the bibs? Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Switch to Sky's superfast broadband. We'll guarantee your speeds or your money back in the first 30 days. It's totally unlimited, perfect for non-stop gaming and watching your favourite shows back to back. So get superfast broadband for just £27 a month, and that's including line rental. Join or recontract today. Simply search Sky Broadband.
Okay, so comedy.
No.
Action comedy.
No-way.
Animated action comedy. Critically acclaimed dramas about dogs, sequels of remakes, remakes of prequels, reality shows about geese.
Shall we just go to the pub for a Gordon's and tonic?
Absolutely, let's do that instead.
Gordon's. Shall we?
Mega deals and then some at Curry's PC World.
Save up to £200 on these LG 4K TVs for great contrast, detailed images and Google Assistant built in, all from just $449. Save £100 on this Beko 8kg washer, just $199. 9kg model, just £30 more. Free delivery or collect in store today. Save on these Nespresso coffee machines for quality coffee in seconds. Like this Inicia, now just £59 at Curry's PC World.
He's been coming to my room and he just makes me do things I just don't want to do. Sometimes I'm scared.
Over 500,000 children suffer abuse and neglect a year in the UK. But there is something we can all do. Please leave a gift in your will to the NSPCC and help be there for every child. Become a guardian for future generations. Search NSPCC Guardians to request your free legacy information pack.
Classique, Le Mal, Fragrances by Jean-Paul Gaultier. La Belle, le beau, New fragrances by Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Harvey's up to 50% off sale is now on. Get the extendable Ramira dining set, now just $7.59. Hurry, an extra 20% off ends soon at Harvey's.
Hold on.
Bring your family together with Meerkat Meals and Meerkat Movies, all in the Meerkat app.
Come on then, girl, let's have a swim. Ooh, I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that ice cream. Lovely white chocolate, salted caramel one. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? It's proper summertime. And you know what? When we buy it from the co-op, they're using those compostable bags now. Which means less plastic in the sea.
We're the first national retailer to use certified compostable bags in the UK. It's what we do.
Henry and Simon are competing to restore old goodies.
It's got your name written all over it.
Lovely. To new glory and a pocket full of cash.
How much? A four-figure sum.
Brand new Find It, Fix It, Flog It. Wednesday at 10 on Quest and Quest OD.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Welcome back. Our final trip to League One finishes with the highly anticipated return of Matty Taylor to Bristol Rovers, only this time an Oxford United player, unforgiven for leaving him for rivals Bristol City. It promised to be an interesting welcome. Before that, though, we're going to go to Fleetwood.
It was so nearly a happy Highbury return for Accrington's former Fleetwood man Dion Charles. His effort was heading towards the back of the net until Paddy Madden, of all people, popped up with the clearance. Madden's not the first name you'd think of when considering defensive prowess. The Irishman does most of his best work at the other end. And sure enough, it was Madden opening the scoring on 28 minutes. That's his fourth goal in as many league matches. With Lancashire pride on the line, struggling Stanley had their moments, but unfortunately one of their worst moments came with around 20 minutes to go. The fast-arriving Josh Morris was brought down in the box. Zane Francis Angle, one of three likely suspects for an obvious penalty. Ched Evans, making his first appearance since joining the Cod Army on a permanent basis, stepped up to do the necessary. One man not overly impressed with Evans' contribution was Sean McConville. For reasons of his own, he landed a slap on the Fleetwood frontman right in front of the referee. Any hopes Stanley had of a revival departed with the hot-headed McConville.
Having had to wait until Tuesday for a first win of the season, Peterborough have found it hard to find their spark. But the quality of Marcus Maddison's opening goal at Stadium MK suggests the touch paper has been well and truly lit. Maddison is Posh's chief creator in a fearsome three-man attacking unit. He was the dead ball deliverer as Ivan Toney scored his third goal in as many games. Darren Ferguson has been purring about the form of his front men. Record signing Mo Issa makes up the trio, and he was also showing what he can do. A 1-2 with George Boyd preceded Issa's latest in Posh colours. In the past, Peterborough have played out some fierce encounters with the Dons. Here it was something of a walkover. Joe Ward would have made it 4-0 were it not for Lee Nichols' save. But there was nothing he could do as Posh eventually made it a rout. Issa on target again for a fourth time in 3 games. Back-to-back away wins for Peterborough, for whom things have suddenly clicked.
Before kick-off at the Memorial, a celebration of Junior Agogo. The Ghanaian striker passed away earlier this week at the age of just 40. At none of his many clubs did he score more goals than he did for the Gas. And the game that followed was also a fitting tribute. The best part of 3 years after he became Liverpool's youngest ever goalscorer, Ben Woodburn struck his first league goal to put Oxford in front. Not long after that, the returning villain of the piece departed the stage. Matty Taylor's 33 minutes included a yellow card and then a leg injury. The striker on loan from Bristol City wasn't exactly cheered on his way. With that sideshow out of the way, his former club settled to their task and turned the game around. Rovers' equaliser more than matched Woodburn's effort. Ed Upson's volley gave the home side's football a zip that it had hitherto lacked. And that proved enough to give them the lead before the interval. Just as they did against Tranmere on Tuesday night, Josh Hare provided the cross and Johnson Clark-Harris the finish. Rovers went on to win that game in midweek, but a repeat victory was far from certain early in the second half as Oxford went up a gear. Woodburn in particular was hard to handle, his first shot turning into an assist for his second. And the home side were hanging on rather. And the resulting corner hinted that this rather sad day in the sunshine was going to go Rovers' way. Cameron Brannigan's corner prompted a goalmouth scramble. His next cross had to be hacked off the line by Luke Leahy. And a game with its share of memorable strikes was settled by another one. The Gas's decisive goal, created by Ollie Clark's burst of attacking intent. And Tom Nichols' turn and finish. The substitute's first goal since January, and enough to seal a second win of the week and of the season. 4 points from 5 games is a less satisfying return for Oxford, who kept going and had one more chance through Robert Hall. But this was a game and a result that Junior Agogo would have been proud of.
And almost the perfect day for Bristol Rovers, those back-to-back wins at home. But you may notice for the first time ever, we're wearing different badges today. They're all Mind charity, but the charity have sent us badges for every single club now, and you can order them at their site. So we all get to choose today. You two just biased. You went straight Brentford, Sam. Straight in, right?
We both needed lots of different ones, didn't we? Without that many clubs.
So I've decided every week I'm going to do the team I think is the performance of the day in the EFL. Easy choice day for me, Peterborough, because as we just said, the spark wasn't there, and today they were just brilliant. One of the goals of the season.
Yeah, Madison every year seems to score a goal of the season, and it was, say, a superb strike there. You look at it there, coming to left foot. He's got probably the best left foot in the league. Coming in, he's got Issa and Tony. It's 4 and 3 Issa's and Tony's 3 and 3. So they've got goals now after a slow start. They was one of the early favourites for promotion.
Both those strikers, because of course that goal was amazing for Madison, but Tony and Issa, I mean, they're both on fire. You're right.
Yeah, if you look here, say this little 1-2 here, and you know Aaron McLean is a coach now there, and obviously he had a great partnership with Craig Mackail-Smith, and you can see there with these two boys up top. Yeah. And the good thing about it is they've got George Boyd set these boys up like he used to with Aaron McLean and Craig Mackail-Smith, so it's almost done like a full circle.
Yeah, let's see what the table says then. Ipswich are the new leaders, but the top 5 are all unbeaten and all on 11 points, as you can see. Bristol Rovers climb 5 places up to 12th after 2 wins in 5 days. Hopefully we'll have some better news and even better news concerning Bury's plight, but at the moment they remain bottom. Bolton, of course, as well. A further 5 clubs are still waiting a first win of the campaign, but all eyes on Bolton and Bury at the moment. Right, we start League 2 with trips to the Abbey, to Wadden Road and the Valley Parade. But first to Newport, where Crewe Alexandra were in time.
Sweltering conditions at Rodney Parade for the visit of the early League 2 leaders. If anyone could end Newport's unbeaten run, it was surely Crewe. But as this Paul Green effort suggests, Alex was struggling to turn possession into chances. Newport weren't creating much either, although this Porrig Hammond header did graze a post. The secret of the Exiles' success, though, is keeping clean sheets. Here they were targeting a 12th from their last 15 home league matches. And if you can do that, you've always got a chance of snatching victory. And sure enough, with 93 minutes on the clock, Tristan Abrahams kept his cool in the late afternoon sun and teed up Hammond for the game's only goal. That was galling for Crewe, who had enjoyed 92% possession in the second half. But faced with the watertight Newport defence, their 3-game winning streak came to an end. Daniel Powell did hit a post, but Newport now haven't let one in since the first day of the season. Next up for the Exiles are West Ham in the Carabao Cup.
After back-to-back wins, Cambridge appeared to have little to fear from the visit of an Oldham side who'd managed to hold 1 goal so far this season. But the Latics had made a change up front, and Urko Vera made the most of his chance and Chris Eagle's cross. The Spaniard's header squirming over the line, despite Mohamed Maouchi's rather bashful attempts to steal the glory. Before and after that, Cambridge produced and missed a string of chances, but they took one before half-time. When Paul Lewis went down in the box, time stood still as everyone waited for a penalty decision. When it didn't come, he got up and fired in a cross for Mark Richards to control and finish instead. The veteran striker's second goal of the week, and after that, surely only one outcome. The home side might have led before half-time, in fact, as they found wide open spaces on both sides of Oldham's defence. Leon Davis all on his own to pick his spot, which turned out to be the crossbar. And after the break, Cambridge's defending proved to be as wayward as their finishing. Maouchi's corner met by skipper David Wheater, and that was that. In routine fashion, Oldham had their first league win of the season.
The Robins versus the Robins might have confused any neutral taking in this lively West Country derby. But Swindon's Lloyd Isgrove had a completely clear head as he measured his cross for Owen Doyle to score his second goal since joining on loan from Bradford last week. 6 minutes gone, and Swindon's sellout following, dreaming of a first win at their rivals. But Cheltenham started above Swindon in the table for a reason, and they were level after 19 minutes when Charlie Ragland's cross was met by the former Swindon loanee Chris Hussey. Striker Luke Varney, who'd left the ball for the fullback, would surely have been proud of that volley. Swindon's response was simple, well worked and strikingly familiar to their first goal. Isgrove knew the routine, and so did Doyle. The Irish striker was looking good for a hat-trick at this rate. 2-1 Swindon. But the home side didn't wilt in the heat, and heading towards half-time, a calm build-up engineered an opening for Hussey, who timed his run perfectly into the danger area, and Varney darted in between 2 defenders to score a second equaliser. As sharp as ever, even aged 36. The second half had much to live up to, and Swindon thought they'd made a breakthrough after an hour. When the home defence failed to clear their lines, Toumani Diagoraga picked out the towering Mathieu Baudry, who thought he'd scored his first Swindon goal. Cue a full celebration. There was no VAR delay, just referee Trevor Kettle taking his time to decide it was offside. Mr. Kettle was then central to the game's final big moment, but he needed little time to make the decision. Michael Doughty's mistimed tackle on Chris Clements brought a straight red, but that shouldn't steal the headlines from a quality match.
I thought it was a good performance. We were disappointed to go a goal down twice, but I thought the resilience and the character that we showed to do that, and then tweaked a couple of things at half-time, and I thought the second half we were probably just shaded the second half, so it was a good performance against a very good team.
Forest Green were the first to try and flex their goal-scoring muscles in this one as Joseph Mills took aim from distance. Neither side have been prolific on the goals front so far this campaign, but 2 wins and 2 draws meant Bradford had an unbeaten start to protect, and Jordan Gibson clearly decided that attack was the best form of defence. At the other end, Mills was getting closer and closer to hitting the target, and Richard O'Donnell had to have his wits about him to keep the Forest Green man out. Jamie Devitt is back at Bradford after arriving this week on a season-long loan from Blackpool, and he so nearly made the perfect second debut. But goalless is how it stayed until the 3rd minute of injury time, when the visitors made their move. Again, it was Mills who proved to be their main source of attacking danger, not this time with a long-range free kick, but a bullet header from close range. This was certainly not the day to be leaving early to try and beat the traffic, because there was plenty more drama to come. First, the visitors were reduced to 10 men when Matt Mills tussled with James Vaughan. Referee Andy Haynes had already handed out 9 yellow cards, but his 10th and Mills' second meant the end of his afternoon. The home side sensed their chance, and they thought they had a late equaliser. Kelvin Mello was left all alone at the far post and looked like he'd made the visitors pay. This is what it feels like when you think you've scored your first of the season. And then this is what it looks like when the linesman lets you know you haven't.
At the end, doesn't it? The upshot of it all, third in the table now, Forest Green. A great away win at Bradford, only 2 goals conceded. Newport, by the way, didn't play well, but 4 clean sheets allows you to score late. But Brownie, not you, a different Brownie, tweeted this week, if we won 6-0, we'd still be in the last run of games on the EFL Quest. So just for him, Cheltenham, who... The sick part of me wanted them to get stuffed today after Brownie's tweet, but they showed the type of spirit that makes them dark horses in League Two.
Exactly, and not only are they dark horses, they play a really attractive brand of football. It seems to be the way now. 3 at the back, in League Two, passing out from the back. You look at Plymouth Argyle, and Bury was successful at it last year, and Forest Green as well. They took a really strong Swindon side today who will be up there, and they pushed them all the way to the death.
The home form's brilliant, and you know a player's a veteran when he's played with you, don't you, Varney?
He did play with me at Leeds, very funny lad, but I'm not friends with him because he was coming to Port Vale, had the contract ready, all agreed, and he turned round and went to Burton Albion. So I've not really let him forget it. OK, if you're watching Mr Varney, you made the right decision not having that Muppet as your manager. Right, the rest of League Two coming up, and we'll see if Pavo the dog was still bringing Leyton Orient luck as they welcome Crawley Town to Brisbane Road.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Switch to Sky's superfast broadband. We'll guarantee your speeds or your money back in the first 30 days. It's totally unlimited, perfect for non-stop gaming and watching your favourite shows back to back. So get superfast broadband for just £27 a month, and that's including line rental. Join or recontract today. Simply search Sky Broadband.
I'm walking for my mum. Who will you walk for? Sign up at memorywalk.org.uk.
Save on everything in our bank holiday sale. Like £100 off this solid hardwood chest. Only at Oak Furnitureland. Ends Monday.
He's my data self. We met at Experian. And because I know his financial history, I can help him decide which personal loan to choose.
Unfortunately, I also let him choose this weekend away. I need the loo. This will be interesting.
Find out how your data self can help you make better financial decisions at Experian.
Hand over the chest and save yourselves, Captain.
You okay, Dad?
Yeah. It was worth it.
Thanks, Dad.
New Freddo Treasures with Cadbury Dairy Milk buttons and a surprise toy in every pack.
At Glasses Direct, all of these glasses are 2 pairs for £19, including lenses. You should go direct to glassesdirect.co.uk.
A £3,500 funeral? To me, that sounds like dearly departed.
If you'd prefer a funeral that's an altogether simpler affair, talk to Simplicity Cremations. Simplicity, making funerals less of an undertaking.
Live your life unlimited. Be unlimited with Vodafone's new unlimited data plans.
All of buttons.
Bingo. Everyone's a winner with Sun Bingo. Spend £5 and get a guaranteed prize every day.
Oi, you, are you gonna bingo?
Just look at that. For handcrafted elegance. Designed to position you perfectly, right where you want to be. You know what I mean? So sleek it just floats in the air. How do they do that? You hear those waves? Surf's up. I'll meet you down there. I'm just gonna visualize. Which looks a lot like taking a nap. Sofology. Feel at home on a sofa you love.
Get to know your family with free access to Ancestry's UK and Irish records this bank holiday weekend. Bring your backstory to life with Ancestry.
Big day today.
Jamie gets his results. I hope he's done okay. He's worked so hard.
Thank you.
I'm making paprika burgers. That's his favourite. They were lucky last time. Well?
Make your own burgers with our Tesco finest Aberdeen Angus beef. Food Love Stories, brought to you by Tesco.
Some saw us as strange, as troublemakers, as an embarrassment. All we ever saw was a team.
From Carlisle to the Argyle.
Oh, what a goal! Is that the goal that changes everything?
With even longer highlights, we'll be with you all the way. EFL on Quest. Available now on Quest OD.
Next time on Find It, Fix It, Flog It.
Absolutely love the tram bench.
I can sit really far away from you.
We'll get all this cleaned up. It's a done deal.
It's lovely.
Brand new Find It, Fix It, Flog It continues Wednesday at 10 on Quest and Quest OD.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Welcome back. We are the EFL on Quest, and we're proud to be able to bring you more Football League highlights than anyone ever before. And our next chunk of League 2 action sees us take 3 trips to the coasts, starting at Morecambe. We're unbeaten Exeter. We're hoping to make it 5 unbeaten.
Exeter boss Matt Taylor was able to bring namesake Jake back into his starting 11 after a dead leg had restricted his captain to a substitute appearance in the midweek draw with Oldham. It took just 20 minutes to mark his return with a goal. The Grecians were dominant in the opening half hour and created another chance with some sharp one-touch passing. Taylor again involved as his presence forced the ball into the path of Lee Martin, who made it 2-0 with just his second ever goal for the club. 2 down and Jim Bentley was forced into a change. Adam Buxton going off ill, Luis Alessandro replacing him. It turned out to be an inadvertent stroke of genius from the Shrimps gaffer. 4 minutes into first half stoppage time, the substitute cut the deficit with a deflected strike. And just after the hour mark, Alessandra popped up again to square the match. A wonderful cushion touch from Cole Stockton, and the man who hadn't even started the game was on for a hat-trick. If Alessandra was the home side star man, Taylor was most definitely the visitors. The captain leading by example as he chased down a lost cause to set up Nicky Law for the winner 5 minutes from time. Having dragged themselves back into the match and then had a share of the points taken away, Morecambe's afternoon got even worse. A soft yellow card for Sam Lavelle. They finished the match with 10 men, and the search for a first home win of the season goes on.
The Pilgrims are starting to purr into life nicely this season, and they took just 13 minutes to score an opener brimming with precise passing. Ryan Taylor finding the target for the first time in 16 months. How he's missed those celebrations with the mascot. It looked as if the home side start was about to get even better when a cross from the right deceived everyone, and the ball appeared to have been put on a plate for Gary Sawyer. The linesman, though, took a different view. Still, the home side were not to be deterred, and they were making life pretty uncomfortable for Walsall again when another sharp exchange of passing so very nearly teed up Callum McFadzean. Eventually, though, the pressure told on the visitors as Anthony Sarcevic collected his second of the season with another smart finish. But the high of scoring a goal was followed by the low of a straight red card. His challenge on Stuart Sinclair was just too late for the liking of referee Josh Smith, who had no hesitation in pointing to the dressing room. It made no difference, though, to the home side, who added a third when an Alex Palmer goal kick fell perfectly to Taylor, who suddenly can't stop scoring after so long without a goal.
Unbeaten Port Vale had scored first in all their league fixtures this season, so why break such a good habit? On 13 minutes, Tom Conlon's free kick causing chaos, Leon Legg making a nuisance of himself in the box, and Grimsby's Elliot Whitehouse putting the ball into his own net. Off to their usual fast start then, but Vale haven't been so effective at holding on to those leads. And sure enough, within 7 minutes, Jordan Cook's low drive had restored parity, his first league goal of the season. That one had been set up by Moses Ogbu, and early in the second half, the Nigerian made his presence felt again. Vale had been struggling to contain him, and there was no containing this one, his first goal in English football. Cue the extravagant celebration. 6 minutes later, the Mariners found themselves in clear blue water. Tough on the visitors as they'd been caught on the counter-attack, but an impressive burst of pace allowing Matt Green to pull clear of a somewhat plodding Vale backline to make it 3-1. Harsh on the visitors may be, but within 5 minutes they were right back in it. Nathan Smith doesn't get many, but his first goal in 20 months had visiting fans dreaming of a comeback. Those dreams were shattered 10 minutes from time with a move straight off the training ground. Elliot Hewitt's cross was just asking to be buried. Luke Waterfall duly obliged, his first goal for the club. That left Vale's unbeaten start to the campaign hanging by the slimmest of threads, and with 4 minutes remaining, that thread was severed for good. James Hansen with his second in as many matches. Grimsby's first league win since opening day was certainly a good one.
Until their midweek victory at Mansfield, goals had been in short supply for Leyton Orient so far this season. But the confidence gained from that 3-2 win from 2-0 down was clear to see early on at Brisbane Road. At least it was from Josh Wright, a former Crawley loanee. But the events in Nottinghamshire will have taught the O's that things can change quickly. And sure enough, Crawley was soon level. Bez Labala and Tom Dallison created an opportunity that Nathan Ferguson gratefully accepted for his third of the season. 1-1 at the break, and once again Orient were involved in a tight affair. Jordan Maguire-Drew had settled the one at Mansfield in the 96th minute. Here his progress was impeded by David Cisse, and the home side had a penalty. Lee Angol picked his spot and put it there in confident fashion. But the Londoners' grip on a second success of the week was emphatically loosened by a former O. Ollie Palmer came off the bench for Crawley, and while others dawdled, took the game by the scruff of the neck. His first 10 minutes after his introduction was all about drive and determination. His second, 3 minutes later, was a poacher's finish to Rhys Grego-Cox's delivery. No celebrations against his old club, for whom this game contained just a little too much goalmouth action.
Never want to hear the name Pavel the Dog again. Great comeback by Crawley, turning the tables. And Ryan Taylor gone 42 games without scoring for Argyle. But you maybe talked about Darren Moore earlier, and, you know, new signings doing the business. That's a triple one for Grimsby, isn't it?
It is. Moses Ogbu come in, got a goal. James Hansen, who we know he likes the ball in the box. This time he scores with his feet. And then we've seen Matt Green, who actually went to Salford, went to League Down last season. So he's come and got a goal. He's very experienced at that level.
But Sam, it's Exeter, top of the heap.
Yeah, top of the league. Third time this season they've scored the late goal. So you can see they've obviously had a good pre-season. They're fit. Never say die attitude of getting back into games. Today there was 2-0 up away at Morecambe, which is always a tough place to go. Get pegged back to 2-1 and you think they might crumble, but they retaliated and got back in, and like Nicky Law again. Second time this season he scored the late winner.
87th, 88th, and they actually went a bit earlier today, the 85th minute. Says so much about their spirit and character. Right, we are off the ground now, where Sam finished his career last season. 6 games he played for Colchester United, so no need for a statue. At Northampton, we're at the JobServe Community Stadium.
Colchester was still searching for a first win of the season after throwing away a 2-goal lead at Grimsby midweek. They almost got off to a flying start against Northampton Town. Luke Norris probably buried 9 out of 10 of these on the training ground as they rehearsed this one. When it came to putting into practice, he headed over. In the second half, he had the opportunity to make amends. Good build-up play before Ben Stevenson was tripped by Sean McWilliams. Norris had scored in all but one of his EFL appearances for the U's so far this season, and made no mistake against his former club. Luke Gambin is yet to score for his new club, and only a great save from David Cornell denied him one that he would have remembered for a long, long time. After Cornell's superb stop at one end, his opposite number, Dean Gerken, was keen to maintain his clean sheet and help his side to a first 3 points of the season. Colchester boss John McGreal takes on Manchester United conquerors Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday.
Back in April, Stevenage recorded a shock win at Mansfield that proved fatal to the Stags' playoff chances. Remarkably, Mansfield haven't won a home match since. Here they needed a Conrad Logan save to prevent a goal for Paul Taylor. After Mansfield's defeat to Orient on Tuesday, John Dempster had demanded a big reaction here. He didn't really get it. A Mal Benning shot, beaten away by Paul Farman, was as good as it got for the Stags in the first half. Injury hit Stevenage had an entire 11 unavailable for this one, but they continued to frustrate their hosts. Ben Kennedy was another who tested Logan. At the other end, Borough were keeping the door firmly shut. Luther Wildin blocking and clearing a goal-bound effort from Alex McDonald. Dino Marmria hailed a battling performance from his players. Farman's save from Amari Sterling-James ensured what Marmria called a brilliant point.
Carlisle came into this one on the back of 3 straight league defeats. If their confidence was dented, it didn't show as fella Olamola put away Nathan Thomas's cross inside the first 10 minutes. Salford have shown their resilience already this season, and it didn't take them long to start firing back. Jake Beasley is proving a real handful, and he came close to adding another goal with a deft header. No luck there, but just before the half hour, the League Two new kids on the block were level with a goal of genuine quality. Martin Smith with the long ball, Scott Wiseman pulling it back, and Manny Desiree with the finish, his 3rd league goal of the campaign. The shift in momentum continued, with Beasley continuing to make a real nuisance of himself. The Cumbrians were struggling to deal with him, and when Byron Webster tripped him up in the box, it was an easy decision for referee Paul Marsden. Danny Whitehead's penalty had just enough on it to get the better of keeper Adam Collin. There was still more to come in what can only be described as an incident-packed first half. Just before the interval, Olamola was looking for his second of the match. Chris Neal's save counted for nothing as Stefan Skugel scooped up the rebound. In the second half, the hosts carved out a superb chance for themselves, with Thomas again catching the eye. His cross set up Hallam Hope, but Hope's effort was, well, hopeless. Skugel then shredded Salford's high line and raced through on goal with only Neal to beat. Neal couldn't get anywhere near it, but the ball went the wrong side of the post. The last decent chance went Salford's way. Adam Rooney lurking with intent at the far post. Collin with a point-blank point rescuing save. Great entertainment and a fair result.
Few Scunthorpe fans can have predicted this game would feature their team as the bottom club when the fixtures first appeared. But Macclesfield, after riding early pressure, created their best chance when Joe Ironside tested Rory Watson's reflexes. Their duel became a highlight of the afternoon. The Irons' new loan signing from Barnsley, George Miller, showed his potential just before the break, doing everything right except finding a net. And in the scrambled follow-up, Matthew Lund couldn't keep his second shot on target. The second half, though, became a familiar tale for Paul Hurst's team. Having looked like scoring, they conceded a penalty when Corey O'Keefe was tripped as he surged towards goal. Ironside's aim for the resulting penalty needed to be true because Watson came close. The striker had his first Macclesfield goal, and he would have had a second soon after, but for Watson. The United keeper was then on his feet to keep out Emmanuel Asadebi's volley. No matter, Daryl McMahon could celebrate his first win as Mac head coach.
And a really tough start for Paul Hurst. Are you surprised he hasn't made more of an impact, Michael?
I am surprised because, you know, Grimsby did a great job, followed by Shrewsbury, and that's sort of them leagues tough down towards the bottom of tables. And obviously going to Ipswich was going to be tough for him, but he's got a new chance, a new opportunity. And I am surprised because you look at the managers who've been there before, Stuart McCall, Graham Alexander, they've put money in there. There's some good players, but now he's fell out with Hamill, so that'll be one he needs to try and resurrect.
Talking about managers, John McGreal at Colchester now, you played under him, so just give us a little bit of insight.
Yeah, no, really good guy. Works so hard. He's got a young squad there. Try and play the right way. Last season, just missed out in the playoffs. The last 5 minutes of the game, we was in it until Newport scored. So this season started slower than what they'd liked. Big game against a much fancied Northampton prior to the start of the season. And I'm really pleased for Luke Norris, who's got 4 and 5, my old car school buddy. So it was really good for him. So I say they've been flying. So he deserved that because he's been working really hard in the summer.
Lovely to have you. And let's have a look at the tables before we go. The top 3 going into today, all lost. So unbeaten Exeter are the new leaders after their late win. Newport are the only other unbeaten team in the division. Scunthorpe's miserable start to the season continues as they remain bottom with a solitary point. Stevenage are the only other side without a victory. Oldham and Colchester both got their first wins. We will be back with Darren Bent on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. for all the highlights of the second round of the Carabao Cup. And of course, we will be here at the same time next week. And don't forget, you can download our free app, Quest OD, and watch the show live or on the go. You can just go to our website also as well. Right, that is it. Thank you so much for investing your time in us. We never take it for granted. Enjoy your bank holiday weekend. We'll see you on Wednesday. And with Leeds, Ipswich and Exeter at the top, you don't need us to spell it out. The tables do lie. It's a bit too clever. Good night.